Hi. So yeah, I decided to start a vlog. See how that goes. So my stated goal for this vlog is to do my best to actually film things. Um, Other than just me sitting on a chair in my room talking to a camera about books. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I want to be vlogging this week. There are 3 books that I want to be focusing on. Because right off, as of filming this, it is the last week of May, meaning that June is of course right around the corner, and June is Pride Month. And in my case, I have 3 books that I've been waiting to read this entire year because I really like themes, it turns out. So these are the 3 books. First off is one that I've seen on several places. It's It Came from the Closet: Queer Reflections on Horror, edited by Joe Vallese and forward by Kirsty Logan. It's a bunch of essays by people on the rainbow spectrum. I'm allowed to say that? Writing their experience and read from the back. It's 26 contemporary queer and trans writers reflect on the horror films that shaped them and shook them, from Hitchcock to Halloween to Hereditary. I remember seeing, I believe it was Kayla from Books and Lala who read it, I think last year or somewhere about. And I feel like I've seen someone else read this book, but I cannot remember who it was. So I think I want to start with this one. Then I got Bad Gays: A Homosexual History by Hugh Lemmey and Ben Miller. I've never seen this name. I have no idea how you pronounce it. But yeah, it's literally looking at well, how about the gay stereotype being the nice, kind, gay person, the nice, queer, softly, and this is about villains, like Emperor Hadrian to notorious gangster Ronnie Cray. Not familiar with him. I feel that name feels familiar. I think he was a really bad person. This is not about the nice, kind, gay person. This is about the person who shagged you. And last but not least, listen, these 2 people have been my favorite from British history, well, among my favorite from British history, ever since I first read about them in one of, it's not here, in one of my books on British history, Victorian, one of them, I have a few, is Fanny and Stella, the young men who shocked Victorian England, by Neil McKenna. These two. It was in 1870. Fanny and Stella I feel a little strange right now because they went by the names of Fanny and Stella, but I don't know if it was the assumed identity or like what we would nowadays call a drag name. But their birth names were Frederick Park and Ernest Bolton. And the fact that I managed to come across this wonderful book in... Oh, there are pictures of them. There are pictures of them, look at them. Oh, wonderful. But yeah, I saw this book on a Waterstones, probably, most likely. And as soon as I saw the names Fanny and Stella and saw this cover, I'm like, I'm getting this. I have given this book a little flip through, and no, I'm not a prude. Far from it. I'm turning 40 this year. I'm not a prude, but it's definitely, I feel like there will be subject matter and manner of speaking that will not be for the faint of heart, on those who are a little delicate. she says, being a little delicate. But there will be, I mean, they won censored, so I was like, their own lives in their own words by queer men from the past, speaking very bluntly of their experiences. Yeah, I think I feel pretty safe putting it like that. But yeah, I am really excited about reading these 3 books. I am really excited. I'll see how far I will get, because I am not a fast reader. I am a mood reader, but I really want to get to these books. Oh no, wait! I do have more than a week. I got 2 weeks. Better yet. Better yet. So I will I will definitely be starting on It Came From the Closet, and we'll see how it goes. Hi, so first update. It's a few days after that first clip. I'm doing this vlogging thing really nicely. But yeah, so I started on It Came From a Closet. I've finished the first part. So far so good. I've been managing to read an essay before bed, and this morning I read another one. And why am I pausing? I only have a little time before I need to get to work. It's fine. It's very different, obviously, because there are so many different authors. I am getting the feeling that there are, some have definitely been written for this collection. Others have probably been rewritten to fit into the theme. Yeah. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. It's very eye-opening. Both for there was an essay from my trans perspective, and it was both trans and chronic illness. And the last one that I read this morning was about a gay couple and their honestly horrifying journey in surrogacy, and how it connected with that horror film. I like that. That just fit in very well. So yeah, update you later. I am terrible at vlogging. It's literally been a few days. This should not have taken me this long, but so I finished It Came From the Closet. It's fun. This has been a fun book. This has been like fun essays to read. Eye-opening. Interesting. Now I have to admit, I am very interested in horror movies, but I don't really watch that many horror movies because I'm a coward. I'm an avowed coward, and I get scared easily. Now that said, I'm still very interested in horror movies and horror stories. So that's a thing. Now, obviously, these are very different essays. They are each written by very different people. Lesbians, gays, trans, poly, gender fluid, anything under the rainbow. Except I don't think there was any asexual. Anywho. And the styles that people write with in is obviously, people have different styles. I liked the vast majority of these essays. And you will notice that there's a single cute little tab. That's because I am Icelandic, and that little tab is from a person who mentioned Iceland. Yeah, that's all I need. That's all I need. Someone just mentioned my country. I'm like, memorized. That would be Kirsty Logan's Just Come a Little Closer. And the horror movie she picked was Race, which I have never seen. Oh yeah, right, that's the one where women fight to a death. Sounds absolutely horrifying, terrifying. Never watching it. But I like that essay. And I'm really good at reviewing stories. Also, the art in this book. Yes. Very interesting. Definitely inspired by the authors and the stories, the essays in here. I like the art. Now, so I finished this book actually last night, and I started the second one of this vlog this morning. Yeah. Sorry, it's been a long day. And also, it was beginning of June and we have a snowstorm. A literal snowstorm, so it started with a yellow alert for the entire country, and then like over half is on orange alert, and the entire week is gonna be no fun. And the worst is gonna be tonight. But yeah, I started reading Bad Gays, A Homosexual History by Hugh Lemmey and Ben Miller. So essentially this is about the villains, the bad gays, the people that, as the authors put it, basically, the people that the gay community doesn't really want to talk about because, well, these are not nice people. Like, we are talking here about, you know what? It's Hadrian, Pietro Aretino, James Sixth First, Frederick the Great, Jack Saul, Roger Casement, Lawrence of Arabia, the bad case of Weimar Berlin. I can't expect horror stories from there, kinda. Margaret Mead, J. Edgar Hoover and Roy Cohn, Yukio Mishima, Philip Johnson, Ronnie Cray, and Pim Fortune. So, I have to admit, I do recognize some of the names, not all of them. But it is interesting because most of history, when you just look at it objectively, it's about the high points. And when you talk about low points, it, for the most part, gets skirted over because most people just want to look at the bright point. I don't know what I'm talking about. A lot of history is about suffering. I need to stop talking. This has been a long working day. And my brain is fried. I really want to go take a shower. But so far, I'm on page 32. I'm just about to get to the point where the author is talking about Hadrian's most, well, a relationship that would change his life. So I'm gonna go learn about that. I already learned about the Wall of Hadrian. So, and then just continue reading. So far, really interesting. Finish it, and I like it. I really like it. I feel like I learned a lot of both history, obviously, and of queer history. So the book did its job. What else do I want to say about it? I mean, obviously, history is always more than just the nice, shiny parts. A big part of history is the parts that are unpleasant and that we don't really want to remember to learn about because they're unpleasant, but they are important. In order to not repeat history, we need to learn it. And what I feel that this book has done is just open up the conversation that solely focusing on the good parts and the shiny parts and the nice parts and the ones that you can like hold up as ideal, the ideal history. Acknowledging that not everyone is nice is an integral part of just being honest. Now I might be going out on a bit of a limb here, I do feel like it. But I feel like there's a lot of people who think that in order to be fair, you kind of have to present a marginalized othered group as exemplar, as ideal, ideal human beings, basically. That they can do no wrong, that there's, I think you get what I'm meaning because the words are escaping me. But that's really being unfair. It's being unfair to the people. Because at the end of the day, everyone is a person. We are all human beings, we are all people, we are all persons. So only focusing on the nice shiny things, nice shiny parts of history is being unfair to history as a whole. Because yes, you can be gay and an asshole. A person's sexuality is not their entire personality. And that's, I feel, one of the things that this book just puts forward. Being gay isn't just one. Being gay isn't your entire persona. It's a part of your identity, not who you are as a person. You can be a piece of shit and still be gay. And for some reason, this seems to be a revelation to some people. Like, you're not allowed to acknowledge that person's sexuality or gender identity or orientation is not an excuse for behavior. If you are interested in history, which I'm sure that most people are, I mean, why wouldn't you be interested in history? This book, this, pick it up, read it, I love it. And yeah, so that would mean that the next book in this vlog of mine would be Fanny and Stella. Hi. So I've run into a bit of a roadblock with my reading of Fanny and Stella. So it turns out it's written more like a fictionalized non-fiction. That's the only way I've figured out how to put this into words. And unfortunately, that's just not the style that I'm able to focus on right now. Like, my brain is just not having it, which is making me really, really sad that I have to softy enough this book at this moment, because I was so looking forward to reading about Fanny and Stella, and I'm like, I'm a little upset that I'm just not able to do so right now. But we pick and choose our battles, which is probably why I'm going to be reading my wild card. Now, I didn't show this before, mainly because it was lost in my stack. This is Sarah Costello's and Kayla Kaszyca's? There's no way that I can pronounce this. I'm sorry. I'm Icelandic. I will pronounce things. Anyway, sounds fake but okay. Which is named by their podcast, apparently. This is all about being ace. Asexuality and aromantic. And this is right up my alley. This is, of course, a part of the queer identity of the Rainbow Brigade. So, and it's short, so I've also been really looking forward to reading this book. I've actually started reading it. I'm on yeah, I've read the prologue and chapter 1. I'll be reading chapter 2. I should be able to hopefully finish. I hope I'll be able to focus tonight and tomorrow, so I'll be hopefully able to finish this book, because it's easy to read and it's saying a lot of things that just sound very, 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 very familiar to me. And honestly, if this had been available to me like 20 years ago, that would have been very, yeah, very, very helpful. So, you know, I'm sad I have to put Fanny and Stella away, but at least I get some Ace rap. Alright, so end of the weird little vlog of mine, and yeah, so it really went pretty well. I'm a little miffed that I have to softly DNF Fanny and Stella, because I'm just not in the mood for fictionalized non-fiction right now, which is really sad, because this is the one book that I was really looking forward to. Fanny and Stella are probably some of the historical characters who are just interesting. Just, have you ever had a feeling when you just learn about someone, just someone from the past, someone from history, and you just latch onto them and you're like, that's my favorite person. Just not a king, not a saint, not a martyr, not a rule, like, just a regular type kind of person who just lived their life, and the main reason we know about them is because their lives were on the outskirts. But yeah, a little miffed, but soft DNF, soft, because I fully intend to read this. It's just gonna have to wait. I still managed to finish 3 books in this vlog. The first one being It Came From a Closet, Queer Reflections on Horror. I quite like this. Obviously there are very different authors with very different voices and very different presentation style and how they tell a story, what they're talking about, and how they actually linked their tales with the movies that they were talking about. Very different. A Handful felt like basically like they already had an essay done and then picked a movie to kind of like show it in there to fit into this anthology. But on the whole, it was interesting. Some of the stories were very well written, and it's very touching. It's very human. Yes, I like this book. I'm happy with it. And then we got Bad Gays, A Homosexual History, which, I mean, there were some characters that I already knew about, and then there were others that I was learning about, and that's like interesting. Interesting is definitely my favorite word these days. On the whole, was this... I still feel a little conflicted, but because, okay, so authors do take pains to mention that arbitrarily deciding a person's sexuality and gender identity based on our modern perspective isn't really, paraphrasing here, it's not really fair to the person in the past, because they aren't here to tell us what they were feeling or what they were thinking or how they experienced themselves. So I always feel a little conflicted when people are looking at past figures and being like, they are this way, that way, or the other, based on their own perspectives and the role that they would like that historical figure to fit into. Of course, always. Meaning, when you have someone who very clearly, for example, a man who very clearly liked other men, you aren't doing anyone any kind of service by saying, oh no, actually he really, really liked women. You know? Same way. I think you get what I'm meaning. But this is a good historical. Like, there are characters here. It's just talking about the people who aren't like role models in pretty much any way. I say pretty much. human beings are nuanced, there are shades. But some of these are absolutely not good people. Not really sure where I'm going with this rant of mine, but basically I did really very much like this book, and I do not regret reading it. It's giving me the fuzzies talking about, so I'm happy with that. And then my ace in the hole, my wild card that I didn't tell you about. Sounds fake, but okay. This is a book about asexuality in its spectrum, written by asexual people. And I loved it. Like, reading it was like, checks, fits, yep, that, experienced that, gone through that, yep, sounds familiar. So, I'm very happy with this book. I'm so happy that I found it. I'm happy that I bought it. I'm happy that I read it. Finally, I think I bought it like last year. Yeah, this is about friendship, family, gender, sex, living. I would call this a nice primer or an introduction to, if you want to talk to someone about asexuality, what it means, what it doesn't mean. And they are capable in reading English, I would not feel amiss to introduce them to this book. I like this book. I personally would have really liked having this, like 20 years ago would have been nice. Not sure if it would have clicked then though. 10 years? Yeah, I would have sped things up a little bit. But yeah, I am so happy that this book exists, and there were mentions of other books that maybe I'll pick up. Who knows? But yeah. So on the whole, I am happy with this vlog. I'm happy with these books, and I'm happy I finally read these books, because Lord knows some of these have been waiting a little bit. But yeah. So that would be the end of this little vlog of mine. And as usual, I have no idea how to end a video. So I'm just gonna say thank you for watching, and hopefully you will find some other videos on this channel of mine. There are other things that I'd like to chat about. And I'll hopefully see you again some other time. Okay, until then, take care. Bless, bless.